To come up and introduce this ordinance?
Thank you, Judge. This is, Director Ledgerwood has reviewed the budget that was submitted by her predecessor, and two things happened. She decided there were two positions requested that she does not intend to fill next year. And then we had the opportunity to hire an HVAC tech that's experienced, and the one problem we have every day to deal with is an HVAC problem somewhere. So this has taken the budget out of two line items, put it in the other line item. It's a net savings. I don't have that number, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I
But
want to,
it's a net savings and it'll sweep quarterly back to general.
you ladies and gentlemen, motion to pass by Justice Ecke, a second by Justice Lyons. This is with regard to an ordinance that you guys took up last month, and we heard your frustration about it, so we're going back. This will be a net savings, a net return to the general fund of $38,000 by innovating these positions. Justice Lemmy? Justice Rios Stafford?
Thanks, Judge. Just a question out of curiosity. I know that there is one building in the county, and I think it's the historic courthouse, that has from previous discussions, has a very odd and unique and HVAC system that requires like specialty, sort of work. Are we anticipating that this position might know how to work on that system, or are we still going to have outside contractors work on that one?
We will probably still have outside contractors work on that.
Okay, thank you.
It's not going to change.
Any further discussion or questions on the item? Any public comments on item number 24? Seeing none, we're going to take up the question. I have a motion to pass item number 24 to the full quorum court with a due pass recommendation by Justice Ecke, second by Justice Lyons. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Item number 24 will move to the full quorum court with a due pass recommendation. Item number 25. An ordinance recognizing and appropriating additional revenue in the DEM budget for 2023 and other matters. Like the Sheriff's Department, our Department of Emergency Management will work special events for university events, that type of thing. The university reimburses us for that. This is us accepting that money and appropriating it back to the DEM budget. Justice Ricker?
Make a motion to pass on the full quorum court with due pass recommendation.
I have a motion to pass the full quorum court with due pass recommendation by Justice Ricker, a second by Justice Lyons. Any further discussion or questions on item number 25 by the court? Seeing none, any public comments on item number 25? Seeing none, we'll take up the question. I have a motion to pass item number 25 to the full quorum court with due pass recommendation made by Justice Ricker, second by Justice Lyons. All those in favor? Those opposed? Item number 25 will move to the full quorum court with a due pass recommendation. Item number 26, an ordinance recognizing and appropriating additional revenue in the amount of $143,824.09 in the sheriff, jail, and jail and maintenance budgets for 2023. This is the same thing. The Sheriff's Department working special events, accepting this money and appropriating it back to their budgets. Justice Ricker?
Make a motion to pass full quorum court with due pass recommendation.
I have a motion to pass full quorum court with a due pass recommendation by Justice Ricker. It was a close race, but I heard second by Justice Dean. Any further discussion or questions on item number 26? Any public comments on item number 26? Seeing none, we're going to take up the question. I have a motion to pass item number 26 to the full quorum court with a due pass recommendation by Justice Ricker, second by Justice Dean. All those in favor? Those opposed? Item number 26 will move to the full quorum court with a due pass recommendation. Item number 27, an ordinance amending ordinance 2018-64 to implement necessary adjustments to the law enforcement step pay plan and other matters pertaining thereto. The step pay plan instituted by the Sheriff's Department is a standalone ordinance. We made changes to that ordinance essentially through our budgetary process, and this is the ordinance that will update the standalone step pay ordinance. Justice Lyons?
Now, since you answered my question already, I make a motion we pass this on to the full quorum court to do pass recommendation.
A motion to pass the full quorum court with the due pass recommendation by Justice Lyons, second by Justice Dean. Any further discussion on item number 27? Justice Rios Stafford?
I hesitate to ask this because it's not maybe directly related to this ordinance, but the discussion, it came up in a question today. Someone asked me, and I couldn't remember, besides the sheriff's department, what other employees are on a step pay plan at the county?
Roads.
The road department, okay.
Roads, and the detention center has one now. I think that's it.
Okay, sorry for the pop quiz.
No, that's fine. Too many to remember. That's the problem we have.
Thank you.
Any further questions on that? Any public comments on item number 27? Seeing none, we're going to take up the question. I have a motion to pass item number 27 to the full quorum court with a due pass recommendation by Justice Lyons, a second by Justice Dean. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Item number 27 will move to the full quorum court with a due pass recommendation. Item number 28, a resolution ordering that an election be held on March 5th, 2024 on the question of authorizing off-premises sale of alcohol on Sundays within the city of Greenland, Arkansas. This is part of the process that the city of Greenland has to follow to get this put on the ballot. Justice Ricker?
Yes, City of Greenland did a petition for this and got the required number of registered voters for that, and I'd like to make a motion to move this to the full quorum court.
I have a motion to pass item number 28 to the full quorum court with a due pass recommendation by Justice Ricker. I heard second by Justice Lemming. Any further discussion? Justice Dennis?
Yes, Judge. When did this become ours to handle? I thought this would just be a city.
Counselor, would you like to handle that?
Yep. State law requires that in order for it to go on the ballot, the quorum court must pass. Really, it's you got to issue an order, and because you don't really sit as a court, this is the way we do it. So this resolution is basically says, here's the order. The order directs the election commission to place this on the ballot at the time of the election, because we as the county are responsible for all the elections, even this election.
So we're voting yes just to allow it to be on the ballot.
Right. The law says that if the appropriate amount of signatures are obtained and the city certifies that you shall pass an ordinance, so you don't really have an option, but this is what has to be done in order to put it onto the ballot. State law.
Any further discussion on item number 28? Any public comments on item number 28? Seeing none, we'll take up the question. I have a motion to pass item number 28 to the full quorum court with a due pass recommendation by Justice Ricker, a second by Justice Lemming. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 28 will move to the full quorum court. Item number 29, a resolution expressing concern about the USPS's plan to reduce mail operations at the Fayetteville facility. Justice Rios Stafford, would you like to introduce?
Thank you. Yes, Judge Deakins. Just a little background. The Northwest Arkansas Processing and Distribution Center serves all of Northwest Arkansas, our whole area. It happens to be located in my JP district in Fayetteville. And late last month, we kind of got, they sort of blindsided everyone, and we got word that they were considering a plan to move some of the major operations out of Northwest Arkansas and to the Oklahoma City Processing and Distribution Center, which is at least 221 miles away. That would involve eliminating 12 staff positions and 1 management position at the facility here in Northwest Arkansas and moving those positions to Oklahoma City. Any employees in those positions might probably would need to relocate. There's been a lot of concern in the community over this. Heard from a lot of people. Our congressperson, Representative Womack, sent a letter to the U.S. Postal Service expressing a lot of concern about this issue, which included a lot of unanswered questions. The U.S. Postal Service held a community meeting at the Fayetteville Public Library last week. I attended that. They gave very little information at that meeting besides what they had already given. A couple dozen people spoke. It was a packed house at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday. Every single person who spoke against it. I also ran into one of our counterparts in Benton County, Justice of the Peace Carrie Smith was there. She spoke against the USPS moving these essential operations out of our area, and she had some good insight. I spoke to her afterwards about how this could potentially affect county services. She talked a lot about how there's a lot of essential mail that counties send out, including court summons, jury duty notices, absentee ballots, and the timing of absentee ballots and things like that are set by state law. And so this is just basically a resolution, adding our voice to that if we choose to pass this, saying that we're opposed to any changes in USPS operations that would negatively impact mail service here in Northwest Arkansas, including county services. There were several postal employees that spoke last week, talked about how that 221-mile round trip would certainly affect the timing of some operations and extend mail delivery times. So with that, I move to pass this on to the full quorum court.
I have a motion to pass to the full quorum court with a due pass recommendation by Justice Rios Stafford, second by Justice Lyons. Any further discussion? Justice Wilson?
I'm sympathetic concerning what was going on here. I would generally be supportive of a resolution like this, but my question is, can we really do much good? Because from what I understand about the U.S. Postal Service, they've been making changes like this for years. I know in another part of our state, if I remember correctly, Jonesboro lost a similar distribution area when they moved it into Memphis. And in that part of the state, a lot of their mail will go, instead of through something in Arkansas, it'll go to Memphis or to St. Louis sometimes. So while I'm sympathetic towards this, I'm not against it at all, but my question is, how much good could we do when the U.S. Postal Service has followed a trend like this? My understanding, they've done this across the country to minimize the number of distribution areas. So that's the only thoughts that I have. I'm not speaking in opposition to anything right now, just asking a question.
Thank you, Justice Wilson. Justice Pond?
I'll be glad to vote expressing my concern for this idea here. And my thing on it is, let's say I want to put some kind of check in the mail, and I won't put it in my mailbox at home. I'll take it down to the post office at Goshen or over to Elkins. And I can't see, if I need my check in the mail, I need someone to receive that on the other end. Maybe it's just somebody else here in Northwest Arkansas. I can't see how my check's gonna get there faster if it gets shipped off to Oklahoma City and then come back and then go to whoever I'm trying to send a check to. And as far as whether it'll do any good or not, I think the public needs to know sometimes some of us use a little bit of common sense. We're trying to reason something out. And I think maybe the more people who are aware of this, the more likely the Postal Service is going to know that we're aware of it. And whether it does any good or not might not make any difference. I'm just glad to express my concern on behalf of people in District 15 in Washington County. Thank you.
Thank you, Justice Pond. Any further discussion, comments on the item? Justice Rios Stafford?
Thanks. I just wanted to add two things that I forgot. This is not, yet a done deal. The Postal Service has opened up a portal online where people can fill out a survey expressing their thoughts and input. That was part of what last week's session was for them to gather public input, and that's going to be open online until, I believe, December 21st. And second, I wanted to thank JP Sean Simon for co-sponsoring this resolution.
Thank you. Further comments? Any public comments on item number 29?
Hi, my name is Gracie Foreman. I live in Fayetteville. And just reiterating, I'm really excited that this topic came to the Quorum Court. My mom was a postal worker in rural Arkansas for 17 years. And I know there's been a lot of talk about what good it will do, but it won't really do any harm to support the workers here in Northwest Arkansas. And in addition to that, I just know that for those 11 workers in one manager position, it will really make a world of difference to know that their community supports them and wants to keep their jobs stable in Northwest Arkansas.
Thank you. Additional public comments? Seeing none, we're going to take up the item. I have a motion to pass item number 29 to the full quorum court with a due pass recommendation by Justice Rios Stafford, a second by Justice Lyons. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Item number 29 will move to the full quorum court with a due pass recommendation. Justice Lyons?
Now, I'd like to make a motion for a consent agenda to be items 11 through 27.
I have a motion to pass items number 11 through 27 to the consent agenda by Justice Lyons. Do I have a second? Second. I have a second by Justice Dean. Once again, I have a motion to pass items 11 through 27 to the consent agenda by Justice Lyons, second by Justice Dean. Justice Koger?
Thank you, Judge. I don't think item 13 should be on the consent agenda.
Justice Lyons, will you consider that a friendly amendment to remove item 13 from the motion? So that will update to items number 11 through 27 with the exception of number 13. Yes, Justice Ecke.
I have on here that item number 10 was
So
to go to the full quorum court with the due pass.
those items number 9 and 10 both need to not be on a consent agenda. Appropriation ordinances can go on the consent agenda. Those will have to remain separate.
Okay, gotcha.
So once again, we have a motion as friendly amended by Justice Lyons to move items 11 through 27 to a consent agenda with the exception of 13. Justice Dean, does your second still stand? Yes. Any questions? Those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Items number 11 through 27, with the exception of item number 13, will move to the consent agenda. Our last item on the agenda this evening is a 12-minute public comment period with a 3-minute limit for individuals to come comment on items on the agenda. Public comments.
Good evening. Mac Mayfield, 980 Rocky Lane, 72704. I wanted to comment that we need to reestablish the Criminal Justice Coordinating Committee. I think it's really important. If you look back 13 months, we had a very decisive election, I'm sure you all remember, that defeated expansion of incarceration in Washington County. And I think you should take that as a vote for doing things like coordinating our criminal justice system to be more efficient and more humane. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Additional public comments? Yeah, just a reminder, try to get close or pull the mic close. We have issues hearing on the horseshoe.
Okay, no problem. I want to continue on a similar theme here, but I want to the judge and to the justices, I want to speak on the two ordinances that Justice Coger attempted to move onto the agenda. And the theme that I want to say here is that I think it's appropriate that you do what Justice Coger was trying to get you to do, which is to stop and think about the legality of this action. When the Washington County Criminal Justice Coordinating Committee was shut down, Justice Deakins, you told the Arkansas Democrat Gazette, Judge Deakins, excuse me, you said, quote, "Of course I am obligated to make sure that we operate within the letter of the law." And you said that I felt it was only prudent to take some time and make sure we are moving forward appropriately. So I just want to do the same thing with the obligation of money to the jail. I think you should stop and think about it because some situations have changed. And it's a problem of federalism and timing. I think you obligated the money thinking that you could lawfully obligate it to the jail. Now, the Treasury Department has issued their final rule saying, we don't want you to do that. And now it looks like we're going to go forward anyway, and we're not going to talk about it, and we're not going to debate it. And that's not operating within the law. So that's all. I think you should have considered Justice Coger's motion to put them on the agenda. In light of the new Treasury Department's final rule, I think you should consider the legality of those obligations. Thank you.
Thank you. Public comments.
David Freeman. I live off of MLK in Fayetteville. I'm here to make a comment regarding the Treasurer's report. This report included an upcoming $8.8 million obligation of ARPA funds towards the detention center project. Nabholz Construction and Haight Jackson Architects were selected for this project. This project ignores the safety and economic stability of whole cities of people here in Washington County. That's Elkins, Elm Springs, Farmington, Fayetteville, Goshen, Greenland, Johnson, Lincoln, Prairie Grove, Springdale, Tawnytown, West Fork, and Winslow. My neighbors across these cities, that's hundreds of thousands of people, are jeopardized by this jail expansion. Over 70% of the people who are in jail at Washington County are being held without yet having a trial. That's including what was mentioned by the sheriff earlier today. That's still over 70% of the people who are in jail being held without yet having a trial. These beds are filled by people who have been taken from their homes, families, and jobs. And the only difference between the people in these jail beds and the people who are awaiting their court dates from home is the ability to pay the cost of bail. Yet over and over, after month of through month after month of quorum court and subcommittee meetings, this body here refuses to implement a pretrial services program that will cost far less than this jail expansion. The architect and construction companies, Nabholz Construction and Haight Jackson Architects, will profit off of this project at our expense. We do not want a jail expansion. We want pretrial services that will ensure that people aren't held in jail for inability to pay bail. Again, for years now, over 70% of the beds in our jail are filled by people who are being held pretrial. Responding to this situation by just making the jail bigger really is absolutely shameful. Nabholz Construction, Haight Jackson Architects, shame on you. Shame on you, justices of the peace.
Sir?
Who month after month deny the needs of our people.
You will direct your comments to me. Do you understand that? Do not direct your comments to the board.
Okay, my comment is complete.
Thank you. Public comments.
Before I begin, what's the time looking like?
6 minutes left. You have 3.
Thank you. Hi, Gracie Foreman. Again, Fayetteville, Arkansas. First, I'm going to share some data points of interest about the Washington County Jail. But in full transparency, throughout 2022 and 2023, there were some issues with data capture, around less than 10%. Just in the spirit of full transparency, that was around June, the beginning of the year for both years as well. So now to start, there's been a 6% decrease in violent charges here in our county. This is being pulled from forward-facing jail data as well, with 67% of charges being public order, followed by 9.5% drug-related and 9.3% being property crime in 2023. Violent charges this year was at 7.5% of all charges. And the last time I came and spoke, I got some constructive criticism from individuals here about how what I say can be construed as coming from someone other than myself. So today I want to speak very intentionally now about why I don't support those December ordinances and wish I could have seen discussion on J.P. Coger's ordinances. So one, it is the easy way out. When you push a narrative of criminality and othering of folks who are incarcerated, you choose to ignore the community needs that are not being met. As I've already demonstrated, over 90% of the charges are nonviolent in our jails. The majority of individuals are legally innocent, and we are failing to address root causes and systemic barriers that result in incarceration. Building a bigger jail will not make it go away. It will just allow folks in upper and middle class communities to not see it. And then my second point is that I want you to think about the folks you know who have been incarcerated. Or if you know nobody, then I want you to think about individuals who suffer from addiction or have experienced arrest that you know. And I want you to think critically about whether caging them provided them a means to seek help, to receive medication, or to build a community that could invest in them. In September, 14% of our jail population was unhoused. 17% of our jail population in year-to-date data is Black, yet Black residents only make up 3% of our county population. We need to be asking who is in jail and not pushing narratives based on fear. And I'm not here today because it is my job or to aggravate you on this Tuesday evening. I'm here because I have a moral obligation to my community, to the people I love, and to my experiences to say no new jails. Thank you.
Thank you. Public comments.
Jonathan Nunez, East Zion Road, Fayetteville. I just want to touch on what Nick said earlier about the legality of this. I don't think it's a smart idea to open up the county to being litigated against by the federal government by using illegal ARPA funds to fund an expansion to the jail. They've already, put out their final ruling, and our county attorney can't even defend the county against a FOIA lawsuit. So
Sir, I've already warned people to direct your comments to the chair.
I wasn't
That's the
directing my
rules.
comment to anybody besides
You're
you.
going to direct your comments to the chair. Do you have more comments to make?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Public comments. Seeing none, we're adjourned.